Here's a story capturing the moment a boy meets a girl on a London bus. Let me know if you'd like to expand, adjust, or continue this tale.
The rain drizzled steadily, casting a hazy sheen over London's streets. Neon signs blurred into streaks of color against the windows of the iconic red double-decker bus as it rolled through the heart of the city. Inside, the warmth of the bus provided a welcome refuge from the damp chill of the evening. Passengers sat scattered across the seats, each lost in their own world. A typical scene in a city as vast and busy as London. Amidst the quiet hum of the engine and the occasional murmur of conversations, a boy sat by the window on the upper deck. His name was Adam, a university student with a penchant for books and a mind often lost in daydreams. His dark brown hair was damp from the rain, and his fingers absent-mindedly traced the edge of his paperback novel. Despite the steady rhythm of the bus, his thoughts were elsewhere, wandering through memories and musings about life, ambition, and love. Concepts that felt as distant as the faint glow of the moon barely visible through the rain clouds. Adam's solitude was broken when the bus stopped, and a girl climbed aboard. She was a vision of understated elegance, her rain-soaked trench coat clinging to her slender frame, and a scarf wrapped tightly around her neck. Her chestnut hair fell in loose waves, damp from the drizzle, framing a face that seemed both familiar and otherworldly. She glanced around briefly before ascending to the upper deck, her steps light but purposeful. She sat across from Adam, her seat angled just enough for their eyes to meet when he glanced up. For a moment, Adam froze. There was something about her, a presence that seemed to shift the atmosphere. She pulled a book from her bag, its cover hidden by a protective sleeve, and began to read, her eyes darting across the pages with an intensity that suggested she was not merely reading, but escaping. Adam's curiosity was piqued. Who was this girl? What was she reading? What had brought her to this particular bus on this particular evening? Questions swirled in his mind, each more urgent than the last. Yet, he hesitated. London was a city where anonymity was both a shield and a prison, and the unwritten rules of public transportation discouraged interaction. The minutes stretched into an eternity as Adam wrestled with his thoughts. Finally, mustering every ounce of courage, he decided to speak. He leaned forward slightly, his voice tentative but warm. "Excuse me," he began. "I couldn't help but notice your book. What are you reading?" The girl looked up, startled at first, but her expression quickly softened. Her eyes, a deep shade of green flecked with hints of gold, met his, and she offered a small smile. "Oh, it's just a novel," she replied, her voice soft but melodic. "It's called The Night Circus. Have you read it?" Adam's face lit up with recognition. "Yes. It's one of my favorites. The way it weaves magic into the real world is just incredible." The girl's smile widened. "Exactly. I love how it's both enchanting and melancholic. It's like stepping into another world." They continued to talk, their conversation flowing as effortlessly as the Thames through the city. Adam learned that her name was Clara, a literature student with a passion for poetry and an uncanny ability to recite lines from obscure 19th century poets. Clara, in turn, discovered that Adam shared her love for books and had a knack for sketching, a talent he often used to capture fleeting moments of beauty in a city that sometimes felt overwhelming. The bus ride seemed to shrink in time and space as they exchanged stories and laughter. Clara spoke of her dream to one day open a bookstore, a haven for fellow dreamers and wanderers. Adam shared his aspiration to illustrate children's books, bringing to life the whimsical tales that had inspired him as a child. When the bus approached Clara's stop, she hesitated, reluctant to leave. Adam felt it too, a pang of disappointment at the thought of their encounter ending so soon. "This is me," Clara said, her voice tinged with regret. "But it was really nice talking to you, Adam." "Wait," Adam blurted out, his heart racing. "Do you think we could meet again? Maybe for coffee? Or at a bookstore?" Clara's eyes sparkled, and she reached into her bag, pulling out a small notebook. She tore off a piece of paper, scribbled something, and handed it to him. "Here's my number," she said with a smile. "I'd like that." As she descended the stairs and stepped off the bus, Adam watched her through the window until she disappeared into the rain-soaked streets. He looked down at the piece of paper in his hand, his heart soaring. It wasn't just a number. It was a promise of something more, a connection forged in the most unexpected of places. For the first time in a long while, Adam felt a sense of hope. London, with all its chaos and anonymity, had offered him a fleeting glimpse of magic. And as the bus continued its journey through the city, Adam couldn't help but smile, already imagining the stories that awaited them. Thank you for watching the video.